today's volume, we've been going crazy with surface area. So surface area prisms, it's like you have a present and you're doing what to the present?
Wrapping it.
Yes, you're wrapping it. Today, volume, you take that present, before you wrap it, you fill it. What are some examples of stuff we could fill in a present? We can fill a cup. What are you going to put in a cup? Water. We can fill it with water. Can water be volume?
Yeah.
Totally. What else can be volume? Gloria? You can totally stuff inside that present, right? Especially if it's something that's going to break, we put stuff inside of it, right? Like the styrofoam, squeaky, awful things. You know what I'm talking about? I do not like that squeak. Kira, what else can we fill in it? Yeah, you can fill with Jello, right? What else can we fill something with? It's still volume. We're filling it.
Gravy.
Gravy. You can fill something with gravy, right? Totally. So Sunday dinner, technically, you are eating volume, right? Pouring that gravy. When you pour that gravy, does the volume increase or decrease? Decreases, right? Because it's coming out. We increase it by filling the gravy. When people are like, oh, we're out of gravy, and then you put it back in, right? I love that example. All right, let's keep moving. Now, how many of you have done volume before? You have background knowledge on volume. I knew it. So there are some shapes that I'm sure you're going to rock every time. I'm going to teach you about other shapes. Here we go. Right here. Do you agree that this ream of paper has volume?
Yes.
Okay, hold up your scratch papers. Hold up your water. Does this have volume?
Yes.
Big volume or little volume?
Little volume.
Little volume. Which one is bigger? Your little piece of paper or a whole stack of paper? Yeah, so everything has volume, right? Okay, what about, like, for example, the little piece of paper has little volume. Stack of paper has bigger volume, right? There's still stacks of paper. Like, for example, me, I have volume. Do you agree? I have volume. Does my little nephew have volume? I probably have more volume, although he's almost as tall as me. Yikes. So, but I still have more volume on him for a little bit. All right, so with this, the volume of this ream of paper, does anybody know how to find it before we get into today's formula I'm going to teach you? Do you know what to do to find volume? Think about it for just a second. All right, will you turn and tell a neighbor? I'm pretty sure you do this. Just turn it. Okay, if you think you know what it is, write down the process on your paper, write down the answer on your paper. If you have a pretty good idea, this is how you find volume. Write down the process, write down the answer. Okay, while you're working, type this to write on. Okay, are you ready? How many of you, I got a final answer, I feel pretty dang good about my final answer. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to teach you a formula that maybe you haven't seen before, but it is the safest volume formula. It's the what?
Safest.
It's the safest. Why is it the safest? Because you can use this formula no matter what 3D shape you have. Because they're not always the nicest shapes, right? Here's the safest. Are you ready to write? The safest volume formula is V equals VH. Make sure it's a capital V though. Write it down and then let's talk about it. Okay, write down the safest volume formula. Okay guys, you got this. What does the V stand for? Alright, so V stands for volume. Feel free to remind yourself this is volume. Okay, let's jump over the capital B. What do you think the H stands for?
Height.
Totally is height. The capital B might trick you, but it's so safe once you know what it is. Okay, it is kind of base. But whenever we use base in formulas, it's usually a little b. So why is this a capital B? Maddie, what do you think? Use it twice, that's a great guess. Not quite though. But you do have to do something with base. Kylie, what do you think?
Like the whole bottom of it?
What's the word for the whole bottom of it? There's a math word for it. The whole thing all together? Perimeter would be the outside of it. Area! So this one, if you ever see capital B, definitely write this on your notes. Capital B is the entire area of the base. figured that out like champs. So why is this so friendly? I'm sure you did it and you didn't even realize you were doing it. Okay, so here we go. Area of the base. I have a question for you. On this ream of paper, technically, could I consider this the base? Could you take that ream of paper and flip it up so it's sitting on the 8x2? Alright, so it feels pretty good in the 8x2. So how do you find the area of this part, just that part? Go ahead, Zach, thanks for doing it. Yeah. So to find the area of the base, so B is just going to be what Zach said, 2 times 8.5. Do you agree with that logic? But in the formula, we still need our H. What do we do with the H? You times it. So we've got it times by the H. What's H in this example? 11. How many of you did that? You just didn't realize you were doing capital BH. Oh, I knew it. Then hand in there, help me out. What was your final answer on this one? Thomas, what'd you get? 187? All right, here's another teaching moment. 187 something. Do you know? Sarah, do you know? Inches? Okay, let's talk about this. I am totally out of room. We did inches times inches times inches. Do you agree? How many inches did we multiply? 3 units, right? So there should be 187 inches. Do you know?
Cube.
You know the word cubed? Good work. Cube stands for 3 because you're multiplying 3 units together. Inches times inches times inches. Guys, my favorite thing in the world is when teachers come to me and they said, I had your student last year and listen to what they said today, and they brag about you, and I'm like, oh no, they're smart. So right here, so next year when your teacher is like, all right, how come it's cubed? You can say, because it's just inches times inches times inches. It'd be smart, yeah? All right, how many of you, I get this, you feeling okay? How are you guys feeling about this formula? You feeling okay about the formula? All right. Okay, this next, the volume, BH again, let's remind ourselves, what does the capital B stand for? Base area, good work, base area right there. All right, here we go. On this one, I want to talk about the bases. First off, what's the name of this shape? Okay, with a rectangular prism, do you think it really matters which part is the base? Because if you're setting it up, you'll be okay, right? In order for it to be a base, the top shape has to be exactly the same as the bottom shape. Top and bottom have to be the same. What has to be the same? Top and bottom. So no matter how you orient that rectangular prism, is the top always going to match the bottom? Yeah, that's how we found the surface area, right? Okay, here's this one. What's this shape called? Wait, what is it?
Rectangle base.
All right, this one is a triangular prism. Okay, the tricky thing with triangular prisms is if you turn it on its side on one of the rectangles, are the rectangles always going to match each other, top and bottom? Also, don't you agree? Can you think about this visually? I don't have one right in front of us. Can you think about a triangular prism? Is it literally one rectangle right on top of the other rectangle? It's kind of twisted, right? It's not perfectly on top, so you can't use the rectangles as bases. What shape are you going to use for the base then? Okay, so you need to remember for triangular prisms, triangles are the bases. So this is why V equals BH is the safest formula ever. Because you've got to find the area of the B, the area of this one, you would find area of the triangles and then go from there. All right, let's practice these. Let's put this into place. Go, this one, write it on your notes. Take your time, go. Okay, let's break this down into the formula. I know this shape is like the nicest shape we have. Curious, hand in the air, just tell me about area of the base. Which 2 things did you multiply on this one? Down, thanks, what'd you do?
6.
Nice. So Dallin thought of this as the base. Let's check it real quick. If that's the base, that means above it has to be the same. Is this the same? Yeah, we're totally good. All right, so 6 times 8. Another hand in the air. Help us out. What did you use for H? First off, shout out. What does H stand for? There you go. All right, what did you use, Dan? What did you use? 15. So times by 15. Everybody shout out. What'd you get? You said yards cubed. Good job, good job, good job. Hand in the air, your first practice. I'm your teacher next year. I'm like, I don't know if anybody knows why. Does anybody know why it's yards cubed? Where does that 3 come? Why? Maddie, how come? What? How do you know that? Yeah, that's perfect. Yards times yards times yards. That's perfect answer. Okay. How many of you, I got this shape. Rectangular prisms, no big deal. Okay. Let's go to another. This one. Dun, dun, dun. What's the name of this? All right, triangular prism. You've got to think which shape we're going to use for the base. Go ahead, Xander. The triangle. So find the area of the triangle and then times it by the height. Okay, take time, try it first, and then we'll go over it. First, you gotta take care of the area of the base. Can I get a hand in the air? Literally, what did you do for area of the base? Tegan, go ahead, what'd you do?
I times 5.5 times
5.5 times 2. It's a triangle, so add one more thing. Perfect, divide by 2. Guys, check it. What happens to this times by 2 and divide by 2?
cancels out, so
It's just 5.5. How many of you realize that? Just 5.5? Alright, so area of the base, I'm going to come down here then. It's just 5.5. Okay, well, is that our final answer?
No.
We still have to do height. Okay, don't be tricked. Hand in the air. Do you know what height is on this one? Xander, what do you think? 4. It is 4. So for height, we still got it times by 4. How many of you realized that 4 was the height? It's kind of like a visual, well, it is a visual. You take that triangular prism that's kind of like this, right? Guys, hold your hands out like this with me. Wiggle your fingers. These are the triangles, right? But if it's the base, we got to put the triangles on top and bottom, right? Stay with me. Our wiggle fingers are representing what? The triangle. So now the 4 is right here. Do you see that? So now the 4 is the height. How many of you? I got this. Okay. All right. Help me out. Nice and loud. What'd you get for a final answer? 22 inches cubed? I love that you're using cubed. Cubed just stands for 3. Inches times inches times inches. How many of you? I got that one. You okay with that one? Okay. Try these 2. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the formula under each of them. V equals BH. What's the formula, guys? BH, capital BH. Now I'm going to have you come to the board then. But like I've been modeling, will you show the B first and the H? And I loved on the warm-up how the girls were using the colors like crazy. Feel free to play around with these colors. Nicole, will you come to the first one for us? Make sure you use the mic for record.
Okay, so for base, I did the 4 times the 5. So that's the square. They're both the same. So 4 times 5. Then that equals 20. So that's the capital B. And then the H, the height is 4. So you multiply those together and you get 80.
How many of you got the same thing? All right, anybody willing to take over on the triangular prism? All right, so someone's coming to the board, triangular prism. Thanks, Nicole. Perfect. All right, Maddie, you ready?
So I did base is 5 times 12 by and I got 30. And then I did
Maddie, will you talk right into the mic, please?
okay, and then I did the H. You times it by the H. 270.
Nice. Guys, how many got the same thing on that one? Yeah? Thanks, Maddie. All right, so I know Maddie knows. Can someone tell me where this 30 came from? Let's just do another reminder. Gloria, where did it come from?
5 times 12
Nice. 5 times 12, divide by 2. Perfect. How many feeling pretty good about this section? You doing okay? All right.